On behalf of the Kdsc team, thank you for joining. My name is Stephanie. I'll be emceeing. It's really good to have you all here for the opening of the Kdsc Accelerator Applications. So for the new faces today, the Kdsc is a joint initiative between Kuwait's Youth Public Authority and the Boeing Company, which is also delivered in support of the of KDIPA and the program delivery partners here at Meta. Today, we're launching the applications for the 2026 Kdsc Accelerator program, which will support 10 Kuwaiti startups through mentoring, workshops, and essentially everything that they'll need to launch and sustain successful businesses in Kuwait. To officially kick things off, we will hear first from the Kdsc's project manager, Abdullah Busheba, from the Youth Public Authority. Let us welcome him together.
السلام عليكم وأسعد الله حياكم الله معانا في أحد برامج مجمع الكويت التقني لريادة الأعمال التابع للهيئة العامة للشباب. معاكم أخوكم عبد الله بوشيبة مدير مشروع مجمع الكويت التقني، وشاكرين لكم هذا الحضور، شاكرين لكم إتاحة هذا الوقت لهذا البرنامج المميز. On behalf of Youth Public Authority, it's my honor to welcome you all today to the Kuwait Digital Startup Campus Accelerator Program 2026. Before we begin, I want to acknowledge the reality we are all living through. These past weeks have not been easy. The region has faced uncertainty, and like all of you, we have felt the weight of these circumstances. But in times like this, what truly defines us is not the challenge, it's how we respond to it. In Kuwait, we are fortunate. We have a strong leadership, a government we trust, and institutions that continue to act with responsibility, care for the community. At the Youth Public Authority, we stand committed to our role, supporting our community, our youth, continuing our programs, and ensuring that opportunity never stops, even in difficult times. And today, seeing all of you here gives us a confidence, because your presence sends a clear message that Kuwaiti entrepreneurs do not wait for a perfect condition. You build the uncertainty, you innovate through challenges, you move forward when others hesitate. This mindset is exactly what our country needs today. If we choose to look at the positive side of these circumstances, we realize something important. This is the true test of an idea or of your startup. How does your startup perform under pressure? How adaptable is your strategy? What happens if uncertainty continues longer than expected? These are not obstacles, these are opportunities to build stronger, more resilient businesses, and that is exactly why this accelerator program exists. Following the success of last year's accelerator program, we are proud to take the next step forward with you. Together, our valued partner at Boeing and Meta, we are bringing you a program designed not just to support your ideas, but challenge them, refine them, and prepare them for real-world conditions. This is where ideas are tested. This is where founders grow. This is where resilience turns into success. Today marks the official opening of application for the Kdsc Accelerator Program 2026 from September to December. You will have the opportunity to access mentorship, build meaningful networks, and develop the strategies needed to scale your ventures. Even in uncertain times, I encourage each one of you, engage fully, ask the difficult questions, think boldly about your future, because the future of Kuwait's entrepreneurial ecosystem is not built in easy time. It is built by people like you, the moment like this. We believe in our country, and we believe in our leadership, we believe in our community, and most importantly, we believe in you. Thank you for being here today. We look forward for seeing the ideas you will build, the challenges you will overcome, and the future you will create. Thank you. مشكورين.
Thank you so much, Abdullah. Now let's welcome Mr. Masaad Al-Holi, who's the Managing Director at Boeing Kuwait, for his welcome note. Just a heads up, unfortunately, he's having some technical difficulties with the camera. He's very much here and would like to say a few words to welcome you all. Mr. Masaad, the floor is yours.
Okay. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Can you hear me? بالنيابة عن شركة بوينغ يسعدني ويشرفني أن أرحب بكم هذا المساء. وجودكم اليوم خصوصا في هذه الفترة التي نمر فيها بتحديات مختلفة يعكس روح الالتزام والتفاؤل التي تميز المجتمع الكويتي والتي تجمعنا لدعم الابتكار وريادة الأعمال والمساهمة في بناء حلول تخدم مستقبل أفضل للكويت. في بوينغ الابتكار دائما كان جزء أساسي من هويتنا، وعلى مدى أكثر من 40 عاما قامت شراكتنا مع الكويت على إيمان مشترك بأن الأفكار الجريئة والتعاون البناء بإمكاننا معا دفع عجلة التقدم وبناء آفاق جديدة للنمو. ولهذا نفخر بأن نكون شريكا مؤسسا لمجمع الكويت التقني لريادة الأعمال، إلى جانب الهيئة العامة لتشجيع الاستثمار المباشر كديبة، والهيئة العامة للشباب YPA، وشركة ميتا. واستمرار هذه الشراكة يعكس التزام بوينغ طويل الأمد بدعم منظومة الابتكار في الكويت والاستثمار في رواد الأعمال والمبتكرين الموهوبين الذين يساهمون في رسم ملامح مستقبل البلاد. وفي الختام أحب أن أتقدم بجزيل الشكر والتقدير لكم جميعا، مجتمعنا من المبتكرين والمستثمرين والمرشدين والقادة، إضافة إلى العائلات والأصدقاء. بدعمكم ومشاركتكم نقدر نشوف مثل هذه المبادرات تكبر وتنجح. شكرا لانضمامكم إلينا هذا المساء، ونتمنى لكم أمسية موفقة وفعالية ملهمة. اللهم احفظ كويتنا واحفظ سيدي أمير البلاد حفظه الله ورعاه وولي عهده الأمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you so much, Mr. Masaad, for your kind words, and to the entire Boeing team for joining us on this journey. I'd now like to invite Meta's co-founder and director, Gabby Matic, to join us and walk us through the highlights of the 2026 Accelerator Program. Just a reminder, the Q&A is open, so please feel free to drop in any questions that you might have. We'll save them for the end. And in the meantime, please welcome Gabby Matic from Meta.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see so many of you join us here today. I know it's a little bit less exciting because it's virtual. I'd love to be in a room with you all and be able to really, spend some time together and continue growing the Kdsc network. But I guess this is the next best thing. So thank you so much. First of all, big thank you to the YPA, to Boeing, to Kadipa for making the Kdsc possible, making all these programs possible, and allowing us as Meta to support the incredible founders and entrepreneurs in Kuwait. And I think our opening speakers have already covered that really well, but I also just want to acknowledge that obviously, we're in a really, really difficult time, and we've had a few, calls to catch up with our alumni from the pre-accelerator in the last few weeks, and have been speaking to founders to see how we can help them and how they're doing in this situation. And I'm genuinely in awe and inspired every time I speak to them, because there is a huge amount of resilience, a huge amount of strength, and a huge amount of vision for a better, for easier, and for a more kind of stable future. And, as Abdullah has said, you are not kind of your circumstance, you're not your challenges. And I really believe that Kuwait's entrepreneurs and founders will come out of this situation stronger than before. So let's quickly look back to a time that seemed to have been a bit easier last year. We've done a lot with our first Kdsc pre-accelerator, as well as the first investor program, and you engaged, almost 1,000 individuals across those programs, ecosystem events, and initiatives over the year. Delivered more than 200 hours of mentorship and support, and engaged more than 60 mentors locally and internationally. And when it comes to kind of the outcomes themselves, 20 startups and 15 high net worth individuals were part of those programs. And we've seen some really, really great results, some great revenue gains, some great, jobs created, teams grown, solutions launched, assumptions tested and validated. And above all, we've seen 20 founders who've acquired skills that they can use on their journeys, whether that's with this business or next, and 15 really, really talented investors who, I think will be a big and valuable addition to the ecosystem when it comes to entrepreneurship. But what we're here about today is what's happening in 2026. So the pre-accelerator program is done and the accelerator is launching. The applications will be opening basically as we wrap up this event. And there will be lots of community events and office hours we will be offering to you. Keep an eye out on the chat, keep an eye out on the emails we'll be sending out after this, as well as social media in the next few weeks. You'll have links and all those resources shared with you. Don't worry, all of that will come your way rapidly. And if you haven't done so yet, please do feel free to stay connected with the Kdsc ecosystem by joining our WhatsApp group and subscribing to the Kdsc newsletter. You can scan the QR code, and it's really the best way to stay up to date with everything that's new in the Kdsc world. But what everyone is here about, or everyone is here to hear about, is the accelerator. So we will be accepting 10 early stage startups between seed and Series A in the program. And there's a few different criteria when it comes to applications. There's traction and product market fit, business fundamentals, as we call them, market potential, and team strength. And when it comes to the timeline, we're here, April 14th, applications are opening. And you will have until May 17th to get your applications in. Again, I've mentioned office hours. If in that timeline and beyond, really, the office hours are always open, you feel like you're stuck, you're not quite sure what to do with the question in the application, or you have other questions around the program, don't hesitate to book in and have a chat with us. We're very happy to help you and review answers or give you some advice on your approach. Then we will be shortlisting our companies and applications to then conduct interviews in June. And by July, we will have our selected startups announced. But how are we evaluating those applications? So some of the criteria are the same as with the pre-accelerator. So we'll be working with Kuwaiti entrepreneurs based in Kuwait between the ages 18 and 35. And then the company stage. So this is now slightly more advanced than the idea stage pre-accelerator was. We'd like to see products or services that are already out there in the wild, whether that's actually properly in the market, or at least piloted or trialed in some shape or form. Really we want to see that the company has demonstrated at least some traction. One thing that I need to say at this point, we're obviously very aware of the current circumstances, and that will be taken into consideration. If you've made some great progress last year, but it's been a bit stalled in the last few weeks and months, that's obvious, and we completely understand that. But all we really want to see is founders that apply because they want to get unstuck, and they want to find a way of seeing their business grow. And maybe it's a different, it's a pivot, or maybe it's a different way of looking at the business model, or how to best align with the current circumstance. These are all things we've supported founders with before, and would be very, very happy to do the same with anyone who joins our programs in this program. So traction. Number one question, what does traction mean? So it can mean lots of different things. Here's a list of some of the options of what it might mean. Just to highlight a few. Easy one, do you already have some paying customers, some recurring revenue? That's a clear signal that there is some traction. It might also be pilots. It might be some active users if you're actually going down more the growth route rather than revenue route. And if you're even a bit more advanced, do you have repeat customers who keep coming back and demonstrating the value of what you've built? And if you're the type of business who maybe hasn't started making money yet and isn't quite at that stage, there is still traction to be demonstrated. It could be signed contracts, letters of intent from customers who, have confirmed that they do want to buy from you after, for example, a trial period. And it's really about demonstrating that validated sales pipeline. And then the next was product market fit and customer validation. The pre-accelerator was all about helping founders validate. And here we're looking we'd like to look at some of that data. Do you have clarity around what the customer problem is and the target segment? Some type of evidence when it comes to the demand, and any insights you can share with us from interviews, from usage data, from anything that really has informed your product development, and your differentiator. Why do customers choose you or your solution over alternatives? And then we have market opportunity and scalability. Again, not all of this will apply to you, but if you can demonstrate some of this, it's great, right? Have you looked at the market size, at the competitive landscape, how you might scale this, and really go beyond the early adopters into a repeatable business? And as part of this segment, really, in this current atmosphere, also, have you looked at what that might mean? Have you looked at options of where and how you might need to pivot to make this work under the current uncertainty? And we'll be helping you figure that out. But anything you've already got in terms of data and experience and conversations you've had is really helpful for us to understand the stage of your business. We've got business model and growth readiness. Again, anything you've seen work, has there been a specific pricing logic and revenue model that has already paid off for you? A go-to-market strategy that has really, meant great engagement online or with your customers. And if you're, for example, looking to fundraise, again, something we can help you with at this stage. Where are you exactly with that? Have you got your materials sort of ready? Have you started thinking about it? Have you started talking to investors? Really showing us, where in that kind of scale of being a bit more C to Series A, you exactly sit and how we can best help you. And then one of the arguably most important bits, the team, you as a founder, why have you decided to do this? What skills do you and the team have to make the most of this business and make it succeed? And, coachability is a big one. It ties into the next category. Usually we kind of get a sense for that in interviews, but we really want to work with founders who want to make the most of the resource the program and the Kdsc community have to offer. So, do you have a clear objective of why you want to join? Are you willing to really put in the time to engage in sessions, mentoring, and everything else? And being transparent and available throughout that process is going to be a prerequisite. And obviously, some of the dates might shift due to the circumstance. Some of the formats might shift, but we will keep you in the loop along the way. And all we need from you in the application is to indicate under the current framework and what is there, yes, you think you could join us and commit to the time to join the program. And yeah, there's a few other bits, and you'll see all of that on the website after this. We really, really want to make sure you fit into the Kdsc community and really want to give back as well as part of that. We still think that, Kuwait's economic development in line with the Vision 2035 is a really good framework to look at when you're building business, even though that will probably shift too. And, we want to see ambition. We want to see the hunger to be doing this stuff and to be growing businesses moving forward. And yes, the program will be conducted in English, so you need to be proficient in written and spoken English to join us. Right, so what will it look like? Subject to change. But ideally, we'll be kicking off on September 13th with our first bootcamp, which will then lead into a guided development phase where we'll really help you build. There will be mentoring, there will be sessions, as well as a networking trip, inshallah, depending on what happened. Format will be decided. And then in December, there'll be one final bootcamp week and a demo day on December 13th. So don't hold us fully to those dates, because who knows, but that's the dream. That's the vision for the program going forward. And one last thing before we move on to the next segment, there is another event coming up before the application close, which is a ecosystem event. It's going to be under the topic Get Unstuck. So it's really to support our founders in this current climate, to continue building, to continue pivoting and aligning the vision to, you know, what's possible currently. And if you are applying, there will also be a part of that session that will give you tips and tricks for your application. So make sure to sign up for that. Don't miss it. Yeah, I really look forward to it. And yeah, that's it in terms of the upcoming program. You'll have an opportunity to ask our alumni in a second about more, as well as us as the team and the YPA and Boeing teams in the Q&A function. But again, don't hesitate to book in for office hours and chat with us directly. We can't wait to work with you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gabby, for this presentation, for giving us a bit more information about the program and about the accelerator that's coming up, as well as the events and other opportunities for those who would like to join the Kdsc community. And now on the topic of pre-accelerator founders and our alumni, I'm very happy to introduce the panel for today. The panel is going to be moderated, first of all, by Matt Briggs, who's the head of partnerships here at Meta. And then we'll also be welcoming Jenna, Sarah, and Ali, who joined and graduated from the pre-accelerator in 2025. They've been very active members of the Kdsc community and truly some of our, stellar participants. We're very happy to welcome them here today. And please don't forget to use the Q&A feature, and we'll also be open for Q&A towards the end. So if you have any questions, let us know.
Thank you, Steph. And hello, everybody. Wonderful to be here. Delighted to say that, as Steph mentioned, we've got three wonderful panelists joining us today. So we have Sarah, Jana, and Ali, three of our alumni who took part in last year's 2025 pre-accelerator program. So myself, the rest of the team, we had the privilege of working with these three founders among a cohort of others last year, helping them to start their businesses, launch and grow. And it's been a real privilege to work with them. So delighted to be able to introduce them to all of you today. And they're going to tell us a little bit about themselves, their business, and their experience as part of the program. So first of all, I'd like each of the founders to introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about themselves and their company. So perhaps we start with Jana.
Hello, thank you for joining, everybody. It's truly an honor to be invited on this panel. My name is Jana Mghaysib. I am a computer engineer, and I co-founded Heirloom with my co-founder Fatma Boudet. It is a digital vintage resale platform. So we invite people to sell essentially their pre-loved goods, and people can also shop for very unique and rare pieces, which is something that we are lacking in Kuwait.
Thank you, Jana. Okay, Sarah.
Hello everyone, I'm Sarah Al-Awad. Thank you everyone for joining. So basically we have Shoplitics. It's our business co-founded by myself and my partner Dalal Attal. Shoplitics is basically a data-driven retail solution. It is focused on helping businesses better understand their data and then analyzing their data to find what's frequently being purchased together. So basically we help you sell more just by knowing more.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sarah. And last but not least, Ali.
Hello, everyone. I would like to thank you for hosting us. And my name is Ali Al-Mullah, and I'm the founder of Data Desert. I started this company because I was unable to access air quality in Kuwait. So I was like, let me just place those sensors and collect data. And this company empowers people to make smarter decisions about their health by providing real-time hyperlocal air quality data in the places where they live, work, and move.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. Right, we're going to move on now, and I'd like each of the panelists, this is open to all of you, but perhaps we'll start back with Jenna again. But I'd like if you could perhaps share with us a little bit about why you decided to apply to the Kdsc Pre-Accelerator last year. What did you hope to gain from the program, and did it meet those expectations?
Yeah, of course. So when myself and Fatma decided to start Heirloom, which is our resale platform, we wanted to develop something. We're both computer engineers. We really wanted to code. We wanted to create something together. And we picked up subject matter, which we were really passionate about. We loved finding resale and vintage pieces online. So we had all of that figured out. We started developing, and then we realized that we were building something that we wanted to buy into, something that we would have loved personally, but we had no business strategy. We had no financial plan. We had no marketing plan. And when we heard about Kdsc and saw the advertisement, we thought that this would be the perfect opportunity to try to gain more of a business background, and how that would then support all of the things that we were already doing. So we had started the research, we had started the development, but we knew that the team would give us some insight that would be truly invaluable, and it ended up being extremely valuable to us as we changed a lot of the things that we were doing. So I'm extremely happy that we decided to apply.
That's great to hear. Thank you, Jenna. Sarah, I'll hand that over to you.
Okay, so basically me and Dalal have started the idea basically on research. We have been doing this for years as a research and a case study. Basically, we needed that push that we've always wondered of how to get it to the real life out there. And we knew it's something that Kuwait needed and wanted it to get out there and benefit all retail stores and every store basically. So once we heard about Kdsc, it was an opportunity for us to give it a shot and actually try to get it from just an idea and challenge that idea to actually getting it live into our business basically. And we have done that thanks to Kdsc.
Excellent. And same question to you, Ali. What made you decide to apply for the program, and did it meet those expectations?
Well, the reason I applied to the program is because I just wanted to surround myself with ambitious, like-minded entrepreneurs. And the thing that I really gained from the program is I actually learned how, in the first week, we learned the theory and how you validate your idea. And once I have learned that, I was able to implement it during the first 3 months and was able to get response whether this idea would work or no. And this helped me to validate it faster and cheaper instead of waiting 1 or 2 years. So instead of taking years to validate, it will just take weeks or even months. And the thing is that you can apply the same framework if you have another startup idea. So you can go, so you can rinse and repeat the same thing if you have many ideas, you just want to give it a try.
Brilliant. That's why we call it an accelerator, Ali. Speed things up. Good to hear.
Absolutely.
So sticking with you then, Ali, perhaps you could tell us about, if you had to pick kind of one thing in particular, one benefit from the program, or your favorite aspect of being a part of the community and the program and the cohort, what would you pick as your favorite aspect?
I would say my favorite aspect was actually the relationships that I built along the way, because those relationships that I built would have a long-lasting impact beyond the program. If you have an idea later in the future and you met this entrepreneur that works in that sector, then you would connect with him and get advices. So I would say the relationships and the relationships that you build, you can't put a price on.
Excellent. And I'll open that question to Sarah as well. What was your favorite aspect?
There is many actually, but one that stood out is basically you'd always have a helping hand no matter what, whether you're stuck on something that's very small or small to you, and or something major, you'd always find the right person or basically the right direction to be led to.
Brilliant. Jana, anything you'd like to add?
Honestly, I'd echo a lot of what they said. For me, I felt like after I had graduated from the program, it opened the floodgates to so many opportunities, ones you really wouldn't expect. You know, everyone kind of wants to hear from your experience, which is it's something that's truly magical. And I think I now have someone to reach out to, even if I have a question that's extremely unrelated. Like, I know that this person is an expert on this thing they're trying to do, and someone else is an expert on something else. So it's really been valuable in that way, the connections.
That's great to hear. Okay, question for you, perhaps, Ali. What's one mindset shift that the program has forced you to make as a founder?
So before starting the program, I like to stay comfortable within my own bubble. I really didn't like to reach out to strangers, but this program just forces you to go out there. You have to talk to strangers, you have to get comfortable with rejection, and you have to be ready to face tough questions about your idea and about yourself, why you're a good founder or why you're the founder for that startup. And learning how to respond to those tough questions with composure was one of the biggest shifts I made as a founder.
Excellent. Anyone else wanted to add to that? Sarah, perhaps?
Yeah, so basically the biggest mindset shift was moving from an assumption-based thinking and research-based thinking to actually a validation-led execution. We have shifted our mindsets and our thinking from where we started to where we graduated and how our business has become. Instead of building what we thought was working, instead we learned to constantly test it out, to get feedback, to pivot, to change things around, which has critically shaped Shoplitics into a practical and scalable solution right now.
Great, thank you for sharing that. Jana, over to you. Perhaps a different question for you. Maybe you could tell us about, there's often difficult moments during these kind of programs where you have to face realities and facts and hard truths. Maybe there's kind of something you could share with us about the toughest feedback that you received during the program, and maybe what that helped you to, how it helped you to pivot and grow from that.
Yeah. So one of the first pieces of advice you hear in the program is don't be married to your idea. Like, ideas are not special, ideas are not unique. So always be open-minded and kind of open to changing things up. One of the first things we did in the program was called Mentor Madness. You sit with a bunch of people who tell you everything that's wrong with what you're trying to do. And two distinct pieces of advice we received was, first, you can't sell everything at once. You have to pick a niche. You have to really focus on what exactly you want to attract people to, because that's its own demographic. That was number one. And the second thing was we really were dead set on developing an app. Like I mentioned earlier, we were developers, and we were told not to do that. We were told apps are real estate on your phone. People aren't going to just download something that they don't know. So switch to developing a website instead. And that's exactly what we're doing now. We're hoping to launch it this year.
That's great. And always good when people take the feedback on board and do something positive with it. So thank you for sharing that, Jenna. Okay, next question, perhaps thinking about the Kdsc community, is there something that you could share with us about what the community provided to you and kind of what it meant to you to be part of this Kdsc community? Perhaps to Sarah, if you wanted to take that.
Yeah, so the Kdsc community provided something that was very special that every founder needed, actually. But we rarely find it early on in the stages. It's the space to build openly and freely. It created an environment for us where we could share our challenges freely, ask questions, learn from others. Everyone was sharing their own ideas, and we're learning from each challenge from every founder that was with us. The sense of openness that we found, combined with the access to different mentors and like-minded founders, basically made the journey less stressful for us and actually more impactful, and resulted in a better thoughts what we had.
And it's also been a lot of fun as well. I think we've kind of got a really good group here that it's been a lot of fun to hang out with and work with, and it's been nice to see kind of the bonds that have formed amongst you. So yeah, that's great to hear. Okay, thinking about the audience that we've got on the call today, so perhaps people that are potentially looking to apply to this year's accelerator program. The three of you all had brilliant applications. That's why you ended up on the program. Maybe you could give us a bit of an insight into maybe kind of 2 or 3 practical tips that people could take when they're putting in their application. Jana, should we start with you?
Yeah, of course. So I think Gabby gave you a lot of hints at the beginning as to what exactly they're looking for the accelerator specifically, but I'll talk about my own experience. I believe that in our case, in mine and Fatma's case, there was a strong founder product fit. So we were really consumers of the thing that we were trying to build. And so we had a vested stake in it. We really wanted to see it happen. And so I think they saw into that and they saw just how passionate we were about what we were trying to do. So that's, I guess, my first tip. And my second tip is really do a little bit of research and try to come up with how exactly you fill a gap in the market. So don't approach Kdsc with an idea that has maybe been done a million times and you're trying to rehash it. That will make you less likely to stand out. They're much more likely to take on an idea that they believe can be, they can add something to, they can coach you in some very special way. If you're just trying to do something that's been done but better, it's very hard to go anywhere from there. So try to really do your research and bring some piece of evidence to the table.
I think that's really good advice. Ali, anything you'd like to add to that?
Well, I would say a strong application is an application in which you have invested time and effort into. There's no shortcuts. Give yourself time to think and refine. I would say even make your application articulate enough that someone reading it for the first time would understand your idea. And just going back on what Jenna said, back it up with data, do your market research, interview customers, and don't just send out to them like forms to fill out. What do I mean? I meant to like don't just send to them
Yes.
شو قصدي؟ نسيت والله.
Don't just send kind of like templated forms out. Is that what you're saying? Saying don't just kind of send them kind of templated forms to fill out, do some real research with them.
Yeah, don't just like send them templates, but on top of that, have actual conversations with them. And that's it. Like anyone can have an idea, but if an idea is backed up by data, that's when you have done the actual work.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice, Ali. Thank you for sharing that. Sarah, anything that you would share with people looking to apply?
Sure, I'd agree with both Jenna and Ali. But basically, to me, I would say is trust your business, trust the thing that you've worked on, because when you actually show it out there, they would feel it. They would feel of how this means so much to you. And another thing is always think of it, why is it unique? Why is it needed? And how can you reflect that? How can you show that it is something important and the market needs it and it's actually something special? So as long as you think it's unique, show it out there.
Brilliant, thank you. We might have some people watching today who are thinking, yeah, this all sounds great, but I'm not sure really if I'm quite ready to apply. Do you have anything that you would share with people that might be in that position? Jannah, perhaps we could come to you.
Yeah, be extremely open-minded. I've said this before, but really be open to taking feedback and remember that nobody is out to get you. They're only trying to help you. So don't be so offended when someone asks you to change something. And the other thing is really try to free up a time slot in these few months because it's a very intensive program. You have to be very dedicated, and that's how you get the most out of it. If you're able to just like attend the sessions, go home, work on, apply the feedback, do as much as you can to just live that whole experience and get the most out of it. It takes a lot of time, but it's so incredibly worth it. And don't look back. You actually have nothing to lose.
Thank you, Jannah. I think that's a really good thing for people to hear who might be thinking about applying. Anything that anyone else wanted to add to that? Ali, perhaps we come to you.
Don't be afraid to fail when applying. It's just part of the game. The thing what makes this journey special is that whenever you're failing, you're encouraged to come and get up. You're not just treated like a failure, but as a person with the potential to succeed. And that's what makes building a startup special.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ali. Okay, I think we're just about running out of time now for the panel session. We've had a lot of questions coming in on the Q&A, so we will we'll put those to the panel and to the rest of the team here in the next session. Before we move across into that open Q&A, I just wanted to ask if you could each just leave us with one final kind of piece of advice, something quickly that you would like to give to anyone who might be thinking about starting their journey with Kdsc. Sarah, we'll start with you.
One piece of advice would be trust your instincts, trust your business, and keep an open mind. And change is always possible.
Brilliant. Jana?
Yeah, what she said. So keep an open mind, and there's a reason why you're here. So
Excellent.
trust your gut.
And Ali, finally?
Just do it. You got nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. Love to hear it. Okay, brilliant. That's a wrap on our panel. Thank you very much, all three of you, for joining us today. That was really, really useful and really good fun. I think we will now hand back to Steph, and then, or perhaps I think we'll just go straight into the Q&A session now. So I think the rest of the team will join us, and we'll go through the questions that you've been sending in. So if you do have any other questions that you want to add, please go ahead and submit them through the Q&A, and we'll answer your questions. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there's everyone, the whole team. All right, do we have some questions? Where do we want to start, Steph?
All right, can everyone hear me? Just thumbs up. Yeah, awesome, cool. So this question actually came up a couple of times, and it is about the age criteria for the program. So I'm going to hand this to Gabby M, and we'll move on to the next question.
Right, no worries. Yes. So the age criteria as such are strict because it's part of the remit, obviously, of the support the YPA is given. But if you are unclear, if you have co-founders who are in the right age, I would say let's be in touch, email us, book in for office hours, and we can talk through it and look at it case by case. That would be my advice because, yeah, you never know what the actual circumstances are.
Thank you so much, Gabby. This next question is from Aurad. Does more traction equal a higher chance of acceptance? And I'll also give it to you, Gabby, to answer.
Yes, that's an interesting one. Yes and no. So one of the things we are really, really conscious of when we design programs is to create a cohort and to select a cohort that works. And there's a balance. Not all teams will have exactly the right or same amount of traction. So our alumni will be able to confirm that. So you have a little bit of a mix. You have maybe some who are slightly more advanced because they've maybe been doing it for a bit longer. Then you have a few kind of in the middle ground, and then maybe you have a few that have some traction, but not a huge amount. That's a mix we want because that's how cohorts work really, really well, how people learn from each other, and also how usually in terms of the support, we're able to create, programs that are really super dynamic and interesting for everyone involved. So no matter where you are in that journey, where your traction is currently, don't kind of lose hope or think, it's impossible because there'll be people with lots and lots of traction. That's not it. It's not a race to who has the most traction. It's really a very, very conscious and careful consideration of creating a group of people who will be working together well and who we can support. To that point, it might also be, you might even have too much traction. It might be that you are at a stage where actually this kind of program isn't right for you and we can point you in the right direction or support you outside of the program. And that's the last one. No matter what happens, we're always around office hours. We can support you. Even like the same goes for the age restriction. We want everyone to be part of the network. So just reach out and you'll see. We're always happy to help.
Thank you so much for that, Gabby. The next question is specifically about the atmosphere of competition and whether or not there's an atmosphere of competition in the program or if people really work together. This one is a question for the founders who are with us on the panel today. No one is better equipped to answer this than you. So how about Sarah, you go first, and then we'll do Jannah and Ali.
As I've said, we've built a community based, we're like a family basically. So we haven't felt the competition. We were helping each other out. Each one of us had different issues, different obstacles, and each one of us helped each other out. No one thought of it as a competition based. So basically, the environment is very friendly, and you're going to build a family more than just colleagues and friends.
Thank you, Sarah. Jannah, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I fully agree. The thing is, nobody understands what you go through more than your peers. So whatever struggles they've been through, they really feel it for you as well. And your successes are their successes. It's what they would want for themselves. So we didn't experience any feeling of competitiveness, and everyone was so willing to help. Nobody gatekept information. Nobody did any of that. So that's definitely something you shouldn't even be afraid of.
Thank you, Jannah. Ali, is there anything that you'd like to add to the conversation?
Just like that, just like what they said, the community is really good, amazing, and you really learn from each other. It's a good community.
Thank you so much, Ali. And so I think this next question is specifically for those who went on the London networking trip. How was that? Would you say worthwhile?
Unforgettable. It was really, really fun. A lot of what we did was, it was a very nice balance of both informative activities where we went and we spoke to entrepreneurs and also just purely fun activities. So it's definitely something to look forward to. It's not a reason to apply. It's not a reason to do this, but it's a nice cherry on top.
Thank you. Sarah, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, basically what Jenna said, it's an experience it's an unforgettable experience. We've learned a lot from the people we've met, from the meetings that we've had, from the experiences, basically. It's something that you would always have on your mind, and it would help you. If it's not now, it's for the future. And it is fun.
Thank you so much, Sarah. So this next question is from Bashar. Will attendees receive a recording of the session? There's a great deal of valuable information that would benefit us and could be shared with our peers. Short answer, yes. The session is recorded and it'll be up on YouTube. For those who weren't able to attend today, we'll be sharing that via email plus on socials. So stay tuned. Another question for Jannah from Fawaz. Please ask Jannah more on how she switched her mindset from wanting to make an app to sticking to a website.
So the way they were able to convince me was they said, if you create more of a barrier for people to access your service, imagine your service is only available on an application, it's going to be more difficult to get people to buy into it. Whereas if it's a click and they enter a website, they're much more, basically the amount of steps for them to click checkout and pay are much fewer. So that was the first thing. The other thing is they said, you need to develop more of a privacy policy when it comes to developing an application, because you're getting access to people's locations, you're getting access to a lot of different features that aren't available on a website. So then you have to construct a privacy policy. And also another thing is with apps, you have to support both Android and iOS. So that's two different app stores. And I think there's Google Play. Yeah, Google Play is Android. So you have to basically support it on both, develop it for both, and those come with their own costs. So you have to pay a subscription to be hosted on those two different stores. So it's a lot of different things that make it just more difficult. It doesn't mean that developing an app is a bad idea, but as a startup, you definitely want to get your product in the hands of people faster and easier.
Thank you so much for that answer, Jannah. Now, this next question, I think Matt can take care of. How can I balance protecting my idea? I believe it has great potential with testing/getting feedback. And that is actually a question that we've gotten from many founders who have gone through the program.
Yeah, that's a common thing that people ask. People can be very protective over the ideas that they've had. Maybe they've been sitting with this idea for a couple of years and been thinking, okay, I'm finally going to start this thing. So it's very big in their mind that this is something that they want to take care of and protect, and they don't necessarily want to share with everyone. But actually, ideas, as sad as it can be to find out, are kind of commonplace. They're not that special. So even if you think your idea is amazing and brilliant, the chances are someone else has also thought of it. So what turns your idea into a successful business is how you execute and how you actually go from doing all of the steps to turn that from an idea into a functioning business. And you can't do that unless you start speaking to people about what your idea is. You're not going to succeed if you just try and do everything by yourself and keep it all under wraps. So we would always say, get out there, talk to people about your idea. If you're the right person to make this a success, then you're going to be the person to make it a success. You don't need to worry about other people taking your idea. That would be my view anyway. I don't know if any of the other team members have anything to add to that.
I'll quickly jump in. Sorry, Steph. That is our kind of stance on the idea versus execution, but we have firm unwritten rules on our cohorts play nicely with each other, as kind of Gabby and the founders touched on earlier, in the sense of collaboration rather than competition. And a lot of the material that we do on the program side in terms of content delivery is around, for example, IP, protecting your special secret source so that other people can't do what you want to do with technology, etc., etc. So we generally tend to start with, it's the execution, it's not necessarily the idea, but if you've got an idea that is unique and wonderful, we'll also help you protect it. So it's kind of a bit of both. Sorry, Steph, back to you.
No, all good. Thank you so much, both Will and Matt, for this. This next question is for you, Will, so you can take it away. Is the program conducted remotely only, or is there a physical location to attend?
Yeah, it's a great question. We are hopefully envisaging a world where it's an in-person program, but given the kind of the regional situation, the plan at the moment is flexible. It kind of depends on where we are in the summer and then into the kind of the autumn of this year. We have run fully in-person programs. We've run fully remote programs, and programs in between. So it kind of depends on what happens over the next couple of months, but whatever happens, it will be an awesome experience. So don't let the program format put you off.
Thank you so much. This next question is from Ziad, a question to the 3 startup founders. As a 16-year-old aspiring hard tech founder, what is the best advice you would give to an aspiring founder to succeed? Ziad, that's a really good question. And the fact that you're already here today means you're on the right track, but I will leave it to the founders to give you some advice. Sarah, do you want to go first?
That's great to hear. As long as you have the passion, you have the potential, and it's something you're willing to take the risk on and you want to develop it, go ahead. Don't let anything stop you. If you don't take that risk and if you don't go ahead with it, you'll never learn on what else you could do. Maybe you'll learn a lot of things and it will change your mindset of how you could make it into a better idea. So just go ahead with it and see how it goes.
Thank you, Sarah. Ali, do you want to add anything?
Well, I had heard once a quote that as you get older, you want to minimize your regrets. And I think for you, Ziad, as a 15-year-old, just do it. Don't be afraid. Don't let anyone pushes you down. The world has so many nice people that are willing to help you out. The one thing that you just need to do is just to reach out to them. That's it. But people will be more than happy to help you because they know the struggles that a new founder is going through.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ali. Jannah, do you want to share your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the final thing would be is I know, at least for myself, when I was that age, I was extremely introverted. So I would have, if I had a startup idea, I would have been very likely to just work a lot in private and in secret and try to really become more skilled at what I'm doing. And that's great and that's amazing. And I'm sure you're really good at what you're doing. But also go out and talk to your customers, talk to the people that will eventually use your service. And it's not too early to try to develop those more strategic business skills that will help you go really, really far, especially since you're so young.
Thank you so much, Jannah. And thank you, Ziad, so much for joining us and for asking this wonderful question.
Yeah, can I just add one more to that, Steph? Sorry.
Of course, yeah,
just
absolutely.
I was inspired because we've had a few, especially in our aerospace programs and those kind of more industrial programs, hard tech, it's a very particular one. I think one thing to give you on your way, because I suspect you are technical, right? You are probably technical in some shape or form. And that is in a way a superpower. It's a superpower where you can kind of translate what you're building or what you're thinking into a real product. The one thing I see go wrong, or where those founders usually potentially fail or take longer, is connecting the commercial aspect. So early on, while you're thinking about building, while you're thinking about the tech, really think about that commercial aspect deeply, get advice, and start talking to people about who will actually buy this, how is this going to make me money, because that's usually kind of the hard crux of it. So don't get too bogged down on the building piece. I know it's fun, but that's that becomes easier once you have a real need.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Gabi. Ali, was there anything else that you wanted to?
Yes. I just wanted to add one more thing to Ziad. Salah Al-Ahmed Center for Giftedness and Creativity is a good resource for him if he ever needs help. I just wanted to share it with him.
Thank you, Ali. Just conscious of time, we'll move on to the next question and then start wrapping up. This next one is from Aurad. Gabi H, I guess you can take this one. Feel free to. Can we know more about the accelerator program TRIP?
Hi, yes. So what is planned for during the trip, very much like the pre-accelerator program, trip is that there would be an opportunity for you to go showcase your solutions and network with other entrepreneurs, investors, and ecosystem players. This information we will be sharing closer to the date, but as one of the purposes of the accelerator program is to help you expand your business regionally, it is very much likely going to be a regional based event. So once you are part of the program and so on, we will be sharing more information about that with everyone.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gabi. Let me check the time. We have time, I think, for one more question. So let's go for this one from Abir. It's a question for the panel. What is the most challenging obstacle while starting a startup, and how do you solve it?
I would just say finding the right co-founder is the hardest thing, because once you find a partner that would add to your strengths, you will just be unstoppable. That for me, that's like the most challenging obstacle in building a startup, finding the right co-founder.
Right, absolutely, because we can only go so far by ourselves. So it's really important that we find the right person and the right team that's going to take us to that next step and the next step. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, go for it. Sorry.
No, from experience, you're limited if you work by yourself, but with someone, unlimited.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ali. Jannah?
Yeah, I agree with what he said. If you're lucky enough to have, a person who in your life who you think you work really well with, just latch on to them and and start a business with them. The other thing is when you don't have anything yet, you want to do everything at the same time. And if you're a startup, you wear different hats, you do a lot of different things. So you end up having to kind of develop a lot of skills very quickly. Don't be a perfectionist. And really, as soon as you have something that you could work with, just launch it, just get it out there and get people giving you feedback. Don't be so precious about it being perfect, because it won't be, and you're not going to get anything done that way. So you have to prioritize.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Jannah. Sarah, is there any final thoughts that you'd like to add?
I agree actually with Jannah and Ali. I was blessed to have a great co-founder at the beginning, and thinking of it as Jannah said, not thinking to have everything perfect to begin with. You'd be crammed with a lot of ideas, a lot of things that you want to work on. Just prioritize what should be done first and take that risk. Take that risk and everything will go with the flow.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sarah. Before we wrap up, any final thoughts from the team? Anyone wants to add anything to our attendees today?
Just quickly, Steph, before we wrap up, I know we're out of time technically, so if anyone needs to leave, we can. But if we do have another 5 minutes, there's some really good questions still left. Are we opposed to running over slightly? What do we think?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go for some more because there's some really good ones. So don't leave us just yet.
Yeah.
We'll get through them.
All right. Let's see. Any particular one, Gabby, that you've got your eye on? There's plenty more to go through. So
start with the first one. That's live answer. All good.
Okay. Let's see. Can you please ask the panel about the impact of AI on their businesses? Jenna, would you like to answer this one first?
Yeah. First of all, I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, AI can just develop a website for me. It can just develop an app. There is still a lot of value in developing your own apps. A lot of AIs that build websites and build software are very template based, so it might not suit your needs exactly. Having a little bit of skill to be able to manipulate that is always valuable. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, think of any process that can be automated in your logistics, that can be operated in your business model, and use AI to your advantage. Don't think of it as something that is an obstacle. It's only there to help you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jenna.
I just add to that, sorry. So absolutely agree with what Jana said there. I think one interesting area where AI can be really useful as a founder is to enable you to kind of test your idea and get market validation without having to put in the time and effort to build that final website that you might need. So you can very quickly kind of build a really simple version, a minimum viable product that kind of gets across the idea for your business and enables you to go out and speak to people and demonstrate what it's about without having to put too much effort and time in. So I think that is one area where you can really leverage the power of AI tools that we have now to help you to speed up your business. And that's something that we cover on the program. So yeah, we do go through that as part of the program as well. Thanks.
Thank you, Matt. Sarah or Ali, do you want to add anything to
that? It just makes your life so much easier. But you need to be very articulate when you talk to an AI tool to build your app or website. You just need to be very articulate, and they would build it. Yeah, that's it. But life has gotten so much easier with AI.
Thank you, Ali. Sarah, any other final thoughts?
Yeah, basically, as everyone have said, but AI is there to help us. In our case, it was helping us to visualize things more than actually doing most of the work. In our case, we had to do the data analysis and extract the data, clean them, and all of this. This has to be done from our side, but the AI can be used it's like having a second person with you, just to help you visualize things of the mini outcome of how it should be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you. Jenna, I see you raised your hand. Would you like to add anything else?
I just want to caution people against AI-ifying everything because, like they said, it's really great to build the initial version of your product, but don't think that that can be used in the final state that you want to kind of present yourself as. If you use AI photos all over your social media and you're not an AI image generating business, it might be a little off-putting. And I'm seeing that more and more nowadays. The more authentic stuff is what's standing out. So just be careful.
Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that also. There is more tendency for people to steer away from things that are very obviously AI generated. So definitely I would add to that, use with caution, and just be mindful of what you're using it for. The next two questions we can pass on to Will. So the first one from Fauzan, what about solo founders? Is it always important to have a co-founder?
Yeah, I was going to respond in the Q&A, but better to respond kind of live. It's a great question. We're always fans of speaking to both kind of solo and co-founders because every founder is doing something unique to that founder or founding team. I think as Matt and the team have just said, AI is making technology much more accessible in terms of what you would have needed to do when I was a first-time founder kind of 15 years ago, for example. So I think the barrier to entry for solo founders has significantly reduced. So if you are a solo founder, you've got a cool idea, we'd love to chat to you. Please, by all means, get in contact.
Perfect. Thank you. And the next question also for you, Will, is it possible to run the startup and join the program alongside family commitments? And this
Yes,
question is
thank you,
from
Petra. Another great question. We take great care in designing our programs around kind of life commitments. So I'm sure the three founders will kind of attest to this. We try to design our programs where you can live life and work and family around the program, not vice versa. So yeah, I'll defer to the three if they want to add anything, but I would say absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Will, for that. Let's see. There's a question specifically for Sarah. This one's from Ahmed. What is the biggest lesson that you can share with us, and what is the secret to taking such a big risk?
Interesting. Okay, so basically, the biggest lesson is actually having to pivot quickly, having to take in all the feedback and ideas and have an open mind and actually have to quickly pivot your solution or the strategy you're working on. And the biggest secret to actually taking the risk is just doing so. Trust yourself, trust the potential that you have, trust your business. And if you have a co-founder, trust your co-founder. You guys can do this. And this is what we've done. We've been holding on to the idea of that it's a research and an idea. And it was time to actually take that risk and put it out there and just follow that lead.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for this. Let me just see if there's any other questions. Yes, we've got one last question before we wrap up today. If the idea is common and small, can I turn it into a big project? And I think anybody on the team can answer this. This is such a good question.
I think
But
Ali is currently typing. Maybe Ali wants to do what he was starting to type and say it out loud.
yeah, Ali, would you like to answer live instead of writing down the answer?
Yeah, if the idea is common and small, can I turn it into a big project? Well, it depends. If the solution you're providing is unique and you have amazing customer service, and not only that, but you actually built a relationship with the customer and people root for your company, it can be a big project, but it just depends on how you build it. Building the solution is one thing, but marketing is totally different. But yeah, it depends on your project. Depends.
I think with not a lot of information to go off of, that is a really, really good answer. So yes, it definitely depends on the kind of project that you have. And I would also add that if you have a real problem that you're solving for, it can be a very small, very niche problem. But if it's a real one, it exists and it has enough, you know, enough of a demand, then yes, you can definitely build a project off of that. Yes, Jannah.
So a really quick example. I hope I'm not butchering this, but I think in a very, very, very small part of India, people really like having fresh home-cooked meals when they're at work. So someone developed a business where essentially they go to your house and they take the Tupperware that, you know, whoever, your wife or whoever like prepared back home, and they just take that to your workplace. They don't get the food for you from somewhere, from some restaurant. It's just that. And they have made so much money and they have so much success in that little region, and they still use motorcycles, and it's not advanced. It's like you give them a call and that's it. So if you know your audience that well, if you really have a grasp on your audience and the region and exactly what the need is, you can turn anything into a business. Don't worry about it being small or big. It's not about the size of the idea.
Thank you so much, Jannah. I think that's it for all of the questions that we've received today. Would anyone from the team like to add anything before we wrap up? Gabby, Will, anybody? Ali, yes, go for it.
Apply, it will change your life to the better. That is what I want to say to everyone.
I mean, that's basically what I was going to say. So
I'm
thanks,
so
Ali.
happy to, yeah, I'm so happy it took me a while to unmute. Better coming from you than from us. No, but also thank you so much to our lovely and very inspiring alumni for joining us. And any of those who I've seen a few are also in the room as attendees. We're really, really lucky to have you as part of the ecosystem and can't wait to add some more cool founders to the group.
Thank you so much. And speaking of cool founders, the portal to apply is now open. You can scan this QR code or follow the link that was dropped in the chat. Applications are open and they close on the 17th of May. We're really looking forward to receiving them, to going through the applications and making sure that we get to know you guys along the way. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You can do that through the KDSC website or even connect with us on LinkedIn. The team is always happy to support. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for taking the time to join, and we'll be in touch very, very soon. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.